So is Mario vs. Donkey Kong for the Nintendo Switch worth getting in 2024? This is going to be my honest review of the game after playing it, and not just playing it, but 100%ing the entire game. If you guys want to see the entire 100% walkthrough, all of it is up on my channel right now. Otherwise, we're going to get into the review. I'm a little bit late to the review, had a bunch of stuff come up that kind of sidetracked me, so that's why I'm kind of delayed on getting you guys a review, but better late than never, as they say. If you enjoy this one, leave it a like, subscribe for more. Really helps with the channel. If you don't like it, let me know why so I can improve the content in the future. And without further ado, let's jump into this. First things first, this game is actually a remake. It was originally made back in 2004. And back then it came out for the Game Boy Advance. It was also on the Nintendo 3DS and the Wii U, I guess via Virtual Console, if I recall correctly. Either way, originally came out for the Game Boy Advance, and again, it's a 2004 game that they remade. Now, I will preface this by saying I'm going in this without any kind of bias. I don't have nostalgic factor in on this because I actually never played the original. So if you're looking for someone who played the original and to compare it to, that's not me, but I will say, based on what I've heard a lot of people say and some of my comments on my other videos, seems like people are very impressed with how this was remade, that it's pretty faithful, I guess, but it's just a lot better, more modernized, if you will. But again, I can't really compare it to the original. This could be my review of the game isolated. So again, it's just a different take, if you will. Hopefully you enjoy that. First things first, how much does this game cost? Well, it depends where you are. I'm in Canada, costs $65 over here in Canada. I'm guessing, I think that's like probably 75, or so not 75. No, if it's 75, that's crazy. It's like 50 bucks, I think, USD. So in terms of the pricing, I will say off the rate, kind of right out of the gate, I feel it's a little bit kind of steep for this kind of game. Normally that kind of game would be like probably 70 bucks Canadian, so maybe like 60 bucks USD. I think this should be a $40 USD game. But let's get into the details and what I have to say. In terms of B-roll, by the way, I'm just throwing up some kind of early first world gameplay for the most part in the background to try to avoid spoilers as much as I can, and just be wary of that. If you don't want any spoilers at all for the game, then maybe just scroll down the video and don't watch the gameplay, but I'm not going to spoil any late game stuff. That said, it's not a very spoilery game, to be honest. If you are like me and you've never played the original, but maybe you've played a game like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, I would say it's in that kind of vein of games, right? So similar to Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, it's kind of like puzzles that you're going to have to do. You know, there's collectibles on the map, and you're trying to complete these different levels and so on and so forth, right? Obviously, it's a little bit, it's different than Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. It's a different game, but that's the only thing I can really compare it to if you've never played the original for Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Can I speak, please? Thank you very much. Let's continue this. In terms of the gameplay elements, it's a lot of fun, right? First world, pretty simple, right? Gets you into the swing of things, gets you kind of understanding how things go. Second world, okay, let's add a little bit of different dynamics, right? Kind of challenge you a little bit more, and so on and so forth. And it goes on and on and on. I don't know if this is spoilery. I will mention really quickly how many worlds there are, because it's something maybe you're going to want to know, right? You want to know that before you get into it. There are 8 worlds, but when you complete the game, it unlocks sort of a new thing. I don't want to spoil that too much in case you don't know what that new thing is, but it's basically an extension of the game. It's like, surprise, there's more kind of thing, okay? That's all I'm going to say. But it basically adds an additional 8 worlds, kind of. It is 8 new worlds technically, but it's in the same sort of. Anyways, yeah, it's basically 16 worlds, but the theme, there's only 8 thematic worlds, themes for worlds. Does that make sense? Trying really hard not to be spoilery. It's very hard to balance this thing. How much do you say? How much do you don't say? Anyways, neither here nor there. Of course, each world's going to have their own environments, their own themes, right? You're starting off at the beginning, which is the Mario toy company. The whole kind of storyline, if you will, it's not a very intricate storyline, but the storyline is basically Donkey Kong wants all his toys. And you see this in the trailer, by the way, so I'm not spoiling anything. He wants the toys. He wants some toys to play with. So he sees the Mario toy company, steals a bunch of little mini Mario toys. And then Mario tries to go and basically get those back. That's kind of the premise of the game. In terms of gameplay, the world is going to be split up typically into sections. So you're gonna have 6 main levels in the world. And then typically what happens is once you've completed so many levels out of those 6, a bonus world is going to randomly appear over one of the, or so not a bonus world, a bonus level is going to appear over one of those levels. And basically the whole bonus levels, you got to chase down this key to open up the chest. And along the way of chasing down this key, you're going to collect, there's like 3 different 1-up mushrooms scattered across the map. And then when you actually get the key and open up the chest, with the key, excuse me, and you have a time limit, by the way, to do this, you're going to get even more 1-ups. I think it's like 3 or 4 more that are in the chest. So you can get like a total about like 5, 6, 7, 8, roughly ballpark 1-ups from these levels. After you complete the 6 levels, there's going to be a bonus level. It's kind of like a Toy Mario level. And basically you're going to have to escort these 6 Toy Marios in order to collect these letters TOY, toy. You as big Mario cannot collect them, but little Marios can. So you're gonna have to figure out how to maneuver them. They're gonna follow you, so you have to figure out how to kind of, figure those puzzles out basically. And then the final one, which is going to be technically the 8th level. So there's 6 main levels. There's the Mario toy level. Of course, there's the bonus level. If you want to count that, then there's 7 main levels. But that one doesn't really count. And then you got the boss fight. Final boss fight, it's always going to be the same, right? You're chasing Donkey Kong now. You're not chasing Diddy Kong, right? Maybe Diddy Kong shows up. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm not going to spoil it. You're going to have to find out. Cranky Kong? Any of the Kongs? Maybe Princess? No. It's just, anyways, that's neither here nor there. Point being, sorry, I'm trying to be funny, but it's not very funny. Point being is, again, 6 main levels. You're going to have the little Toy Mario level. Then you're going to have the boss level. Typically the format that you're going to be going through. In terms of puzzles, I found them very interesting. If you are trying to go for 100%, there's like these little presents you're going to want to collect throughout the levels. And there's different ways to get those presents. Again, when you first start the game, it's not going to seem very, intricate, very deep. It's going to seem very, very basic because it is very basic to start you off. Once you get a little bit more advanced in the further worlds and the further levels, it starts really challenging how you kind of think things through. That said, it never really breaks your brain too hard. And that could be either a pro or con depending on the kind of person you are. I will say when you beat the game, you're going to unlock things like time trials. So if you want to challenge yourself in a different way, then that's going to be something that's going to unlock. But again, if you're someone who wants like a really, 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 really tough puzzle-y kind of challengey kind of thing, maybe this isn't for you, but maybe at the same time, I mean, it depends, right? Because what I find difficult puzzle-wise, someone else might find easy, and vice versa. What I find easy, someone else might find difficult. So this is very subjective. You got to understand. I will say I had a lot of fun with the game, but it is basic in its core. It looks great, visually very stunning. The music's great, right? The visuals are very, very appealing, very vibrant, very colorful. I think that's a huge selling point. I love that about Nintendo games in general, and this is no different. Very, very beautiful, vibrant, bright colors and whatnot. In terms of the pricing, this is kind of where it trickles down to me. I think the game is a lot of fun. It's really good. It's very basic. It's kind of short. In terms of content, there's not a ton of content. Yes, I'm technically saying there's kind of 16 worlds, but that doesn't take you too long. I mean, it took me to get through the entirety of the game, like 5.5 hours. So when I'm paying like $50 USD for a game, I don't think that's 5 hours. So you're paying like basically $10 per hour. I don't really think that's I don't know. I would typically expect something like that to be $40 USD. So that's why I feel like it's a little bit overpriced. I feel like it could have been a little bit cheaper. And so I would suggest for the price point, wait for a sale. That's my suggestion. It's a great game. I highly recommend playing it, but I don't recommend it at the price point that it is. I would say wait for a sale. But what do I score this? Well, technically it's a really fun game. It's very basic. And so it's kind of hard to score, right? Just not really a crazy stories, but I'm kind of looking at this. Well, what is this game and what is it? What is kind of the style of this game? What I got to look at this in isolation, right? I can't start thinking like, well, what is this game compared to Tears of the Kingdom? I mean, they're 2 different kinds of games. You got to understand. In terms of what kind of game this is, it's supposed to be simple, it's supposed to be fun. I think it's a solid, probably 7.8 out of 10. It's really fun. It's not a bad game. It's just not mind-blowing. It's not the craziest, most fun, exciting game in the world. It's somewhere in that kind of 7.8 ballpark. It's not quite an 8, but it's also not as low as necessarily 7 in my opinion. So we'll go 7.8 out of 10, I think, on this one. Maybe that's generous. I would say they call me the generous reviewer, but there's no they. I kind of came up with that myself. I do think I'm a generous reviewer. I'll be honest with you guys. So a 7.8 for me might be like a 7, a 7.5 for someone else. So just keep that in mind. At the end of the day, have you played Mario vs. Donkey Kong on the Nintendo Switch? Why or why not? Do you plan to get it at some point? Wait for a sale maybe? If so, what is, I mean, well, not if so. I mean, what's holding you back? Is it the price? Are you waiting for a sale? Is that why you haven't got it yet? Or, I don't know, what are your thoughts? Maybe it's just not your kind of game. Again, if you want to see the full walkthrough, maybe you just want to skim through the worlds, I have basically a video on every single world. So one world equals one video on my channel. So if you want to see that, check it out on the channel. If you enjoyed this one, leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys soon in another one. Tell your friends, game on. Thanks for watching.